What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review season 2, episodes 3 and 4 of the comedy that comes on Amazon Prime, Harlem, which I am enjoying this show. It stars Megan Good. It's about four beautiful young ladies in their 30s living in Harlem, balancing love, life, and career, and all that good stuff. Shout outs to my lovely subscribers. Y'all hold me down all the time. But I have a question. Is only two of y'all watching this show with me? Because I only see comments from Stephanie. Shout outs to you in Savannah. Nobody else is watching this show with me. Y'all let me know if y'all watching this. I think, well, y'all should be watching the show, I should say. So listen, please go watch the show. It's on Amazon Prime. Come back and leave comments. You know how I like interacting with y'all. So leave me some comments. And I thank y'all again. Y'all got me to 1,000 subscribers. And I appreciate that. Let's keep the channel going and growing. We do appreciate that. So let's get on down to this review. We're doing episodes 3 and 4 because that's what they're doing. They're laying out 2 episodes at a time. So last week, we pick right up where we left off last week. Ty has an unexpected guest with her husband because she's still married. But Ty, Ty, who was found in the website, she be toxic because she is toxic. She can't stay in a relationship. She just hit it and quit it. That's how she is. She's not attached or whatever. But her husband still seems to be attached because homeboy showed up like, hi, honey. And, he's, dude, your wife is gay. She doesn't want you. And he just can't seem to let it go. But now what I liked about that scene, as they're showing Ty with him, they're also showing Camille and Ian trying to get their freak on and get things, and I love the way they kept cutting away between the two of them with their interactions. One's having or trying to have a good time, and one is definitely not having a good time. Ty was definitely annoyed, while Camille and Ian was getting it on and doing what they needed to do, but not quite, because what we learned that they were having a good time, but she was trying new positions on him, and he's trying new positions on her, and Camille's character is funny to me because she's complaining basically or saying worried because she feels like his ex now, the one he was about to marry, Myra, whatever, basically might have did some new tricks because she said she complained to her friends. He has new tricks up his sleeve, new sexual tricks. He's doing new moves that I'm not familiar with now, and I feel like I got to compete with. She said she felt like she had to compete with his other, women that he had since they had broken up. And I'm like, it's always something with her. She's always overthinking everything and so worried about things. And she's like, what can I do to spice the relationship, spice up the sex and all that? I thought that was really funny though, because her character's, she's so like, should I say she's high strung? She's just always overthinking and making things bigger than what they are. Listen, you and him have a chemistry, find that groove. But what she does is she goes and she gets all these edibles, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then they have this hilarious scene where they're all high off edibles, and they're just bugging out, talking about, can I go in the refrigerator? He's looking in the mirror at himself. He's looking in the mirror at himself, talking about his eyebrows. He has this thing about eyebrows. He mentions how he looks like Drake. It was just, they were tripping out. It was funny. I thought that was funny. I guess that's their way of bonding to deal with that. Then we have Angie going on these crazy auditions. Her character is so over the top and funny. So she went on an audition for, and at first I thought it was going to be something serious, and then she started singing, and then it went into when I dip, you dip, we dip, and I fell out right there. And then the guy was like, get it, bring it with the dip. So apparently she auditioned for something. Y'all remember that song? I put my hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. Remember, I wasn't a big fan of that song, but I remember that song. And now there's apparently The Dip, the musical. They're really funny with these things that they have her going on. And she said how she felt so humiliated. But that was a funny scene, how he was like, believe the dip, feel the dip, get into the dip. And she was getting into it, but that was hilarious. And of course, she didn't get that job. And she was saying how she was humiliated and frustrated. And me being an actor myself and a singer, I get it going on certain auditions. I certainly haven't had crazy auditions like the ones she has. But I know about all that ups and downs and things. Yeah, I know I'm talking about me. Get back, get back, get back. So while that's going on, we know Quinn, who was brokenhearted last week, Isabella dumped her. And, well, did she really dump her? Were they really together? Was this a one-sided thing? Was it that Quinn was moving too fast? Because Quinn is saying she was dumped. But the lady's a politician. You know she's busy. Maybe you misread things, Quinn. Maybe that's what I'm thinking, right? Could it be that you weren't quite, y'all were messing around. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I think Isabella was like. We're getting to know each other and dealing. But Quinn took it like they were together, and now she feel like she's being dumped. But I think maybe Isabella just was saying, I like you and all, but I'm busy and I don't want to be in a full-fledged relationship. So I don't know. What y'all tell me what y'all think about that. But anyway, she's trying to bounce back. She's trying to, feel better, and she's got to prepare for her father's birthday. She's going over to see her dad, and her dad is played by Rick Fox. Y'all remember that basketball player Rick Fox, and her mom is played by Jasmine Guy from A Different World. So she's trying to deal with that. She goes over there, and I like this episode. We get to see the dynamics of the family. Quinn goes to visit her family, and her mother's totally overbearing and totally critical of her and trying to hook her up with this dude named Michael because she thinks her daughter needs a man and all these good things. And I thought all of that was funny too. And she would annoy me. Her mother would annoy me in real life because she's so forceful and just trying to force her way onto Quinn. And I feel bad for Quinn because it's like, although Quinn is this privileged girl, she can never do anything right, it appears, by her mom. Her mother is always overly criticizing her. But yet she has a better relationship with her dad. And in fact, she tells him things because he actually knew that she was in this relationship with a woman, and she didn't tell her mother that. And she was telling him, and he knows his daughter. And he was like, what's wrong with you? How you feeling? Meanwhile, while that's happening, we get to meet Angie's family. She goes over to see her family, all her brothers. One of the brothers is played by comedian Lil Rel, who is hilarious. Her mother is played by Sherry Shepherd. And we see where she gets her personality from because her mother is a whole firecracker. And the family is just funny and silly. And one of the scenes where Angie was playing a game with her niece and allowing her niece to curse. So Angie's clearly the cool auntie. And the mother walks in and is like, I heard that, but she's still like, hey, because Angie brought her a shirt that matched. So they have a great mother-daughter relationship. And what I liked about that, you saw Angie might not come from the silver spoon, but she had a mother who always encouraged her, told her she was good enough, told her she was great. Her brother encouraged her. They told her, listen, her mother said, you come from me. You're a product of me. The mother's over the top, just like Angie. So we see where Angie gets it from and where she gets her courage from to keep going, because she got a little discouraged. And she said, she also went on an audition for the Erykah Badu to be one of Erykah Badu's background singers, and that didn't pan out, and she was disappointed about that. But the family's always like encouraging her, and I like that scene between Angie and her brothers, because Angie was she had also auditioned to be a background singer for Erykah Badu, Bag Lady, which was cool, and she didn't get it, and she was telling her brothers how that's exchange between her and her brother, where one was like, oh yeah, Badu is cool, and I want to meet her, I want to get her pregnant. That was hilarious. And then when they found out that Angie didn't get the job, they immediately was like, oh, I don't like Erykah Badu like that anyway. You better than her anyway. One of the brothers was like, oh, I don't want to have no babies with her anyway. I thought that was funny. And I loved how it showed the support, how her family pours into her and supports her no matter what. And her brother, played by Lil Rel, told her, he said, listen, what I like about you is you fall, but you always get back up and you don't quit. And that takes a lot to do that. That's a lot. And he's right. It does take a lot to keep getting up and trying again and not, being discouraged. So I love that dynamic, and I love seeing her with her family. And I hope we get to see more of her family. And it's funny because on the other end with Quinn and her mother, it was like the mother's just so overbearing and judgmental and just like, wow. But then she had the nerve to say to Quinn, well, you always, you block me out. You keep me out of things, so how am I to know? Because she got upset when she did find out. Quinn was like, listen, I don't want this guy. I'm not trying to go on no date. Don't hook me up. I just got out of a relationship that didn't work. And she mentioned that it was a woman. And her mother was like, oh, you're gay now? And she asked the dad, did you know about this? She's just so overbearing. And he did know about it. So she felt a little jealous because the father's the cool father like me. He's the cool dad. I'm the cool dad in my situation too. My kids, but I'm fair too. And I listen, but I'm the cool, I'm the one they talk to, they come to. But here I go, making it about me. That's when you know a show is good, when you can pull yourself into it. That's why I say the show is good. But anyway, it was great seeing the dynamics of their families and what basically kind of drives them, because you have one who can, it seems like her mother, she could never measure up with anything with her mother and age. They have this relationship that's a little troubling to me. And, but she also has the support because they're privileged, but still, I wouldn't want a relative like that, and, that's just crazy to me. Meanwhile, let's see what's going on. Ty decides that she needs to get some life lessons from her two friends who are in a relationship. And she goes over there thinking that this is going to help her and she's going to learn so much from them. And they turn out to be very boring for her. They're cooking together. They're cleaning together. They watch game show marathons and fall asleep. And she is like totally bored. She's like, nah, this ain't it. So she leaves that. And then we go back to Camille and Ian and their, little adventures, which I thought was cool. And they answer the door and he's been served with papers, and that's where episode 3 ends. And so episode 4 picks up. We find out that he's been served with papers from Mira's parents, who want $16,000 for the wedding that was canceled because, he didn't marry the girl. And, the bride's family usually pays for the wedding. And listen, they came all the way to New York and all this. And now he was upset about that. But Ian, dude, you owe the money. I think he should pay it, but he just got to figure out a way to get it. But I definitely think that he should pay it. Then we see Ty, whose doctor tells her that, she can't keep coming in getting these blood transfusions. She may have to go get a hysterectomy. And as she's finding that out, we find out that with Camille and her having this sex with Ian and everything, that her Nuva ring fell out, and now she's worried about that she might be pregnant and all this. And then so she overthinking yet again, always overthinking. She's like, what if I'm pregnant? And then Ian was like, listen, we're in our 30s. Us having a baby in our 30s is fine. Like, what's the big deal? But of course, she did make some good points. She's like, well, she's a little worried about that. He's saying that, but we just got back together. What if I get pregnant? Then we break up. Then we got a custody battle. She just went down the rabbit hole of the what ifs and the negatives. And it was funny too, but that's her character. That's how she is. So even with this whole Nuva ring thing, she mentions it to Ty, and Ty mentions her situation. So they go see Camille's doctor, and she said, well, maybe she can help you. And Camille's doctor lets Ty know, there's other plans and other ways of treatment for this hysterectomy. You might not have to get a hysterectomy. There's other things we can see you can do. And then they start talking about this whole thing. Then they get on this whole thing about testing and freezing eggs. And so both ladies decide to have this test done to see if they may need to freeze their eggs for a later date, because you never know when you want to have babies. And, Ty said she ain't trying to have no baby. She's not really dealing with that. She's more laser focused on getting that husband out of her life. Speaking of, Brandon now wants half, and she's not having that. She's pissed off about that. She's like, how in the hell does this dude want half, this, that, and the third? But the thing is, she abandoned him, and she deceived him, so he might get the half, And the way she behaved at the, what do you call that, mediation between her and their lawyers was totally ridiculous. and she was getting mad that they kept calling her Taisha. I think they were calling her Taisha. But just the way she was behaving to me was unacceptable. I know you upset and you don't want him to get half, but think about the things you did. And then the way she was speaking to her lawyer and everything is like, ma'am, you're not that's not a good look. That's not a good move to do. Meanwhile, over in Angie Land, Angie gets a gig. I love the gigs that they give her. She booked a show, a Christmas movie, a Hallmark Christmas movie on the Hallmark channel. But one of the requirements is that she needs to know how to ride a bike. She doesn't know how to ride a bike. Now, when she goes into the Hallmark office, that was hilarious how all those weird, quirky people, welcome to Hallmark, welcome to Hallmark. And she gets in there and the lady goes, oh, I loved you in Moesha. And she's like, what? And she's like, actually, I haven't seen Moesha. Then she finds out that Countess Vaughn, who actually was one of the stars of Moesha, was fired from this gig because she did not know how to ride a bike. So now Angie has to learn to go how to ride a bike, which brings us more comedy because we still agrees to let Ian teach her how to ride a bike. And that whole scene was hilarious because she was kind of like touching on him and flirting with him a little bit, but she kept saying, don't nobody want Ian. I was just complimenting him, but that was funny. So she said she had all these rules. First of all, she had all these rules on what she wanted. First of all, if someone is teaching you how to ride a bike, you don't make any rules. You have to follow what the teacher is telling you. And it was so funny, that scene. And of course, she fell and she got upset about falling and she hurt her knee. But she was so dramatic. This is what happens when you're on bikes. You fall, you get back up. That's that. That's the bottom line to that. So then we go to Quinn, who is about to have this dream interview with, I believe it was Vogue, and she's so excited about this. So when the interview happens and they're asking her these 73 questions and what makes you happy, she has a meltdown, and I felt so bad for her. She had a meltdown and she was so upset. She doesn't know what her purpose is and this, that. And of course she had to stop the interview. And now this night is supposed to be her parents' vow renewal ceremony, and she hasn't shown up. She's sitting in the bathtub all sad and miserable. And meanwhile, the ladies are showing up to this thing. Her friends show up. She's not there yet. We see Angie, who's always getting a man, ended up hooking up with Michael, hanging out with him. They sneak out of the place. They do that little diversion thing and leave the party. And they don't go into having sex. Instead, they were trying to get somewhere, trying to find somewhere else to go, and the Uber wasn't coming, and she doesn't have Uber or whatever. And he said, well, we could take these bikes. And that's when he learns that she doesn't know how to ride a bike. She said, these damn bikes. And then I thought that was a really cute and funny scene. He actually helped her learn how to ride a bike. And then when she got it, she was up and down on that city bike, like, look at me, y'all, I'm riding the bike, I'm riding the bike. And, her and Michael end up kissing. I thought that was cool. I like how they played on that. And then we see poor Quinn is just sitting in the bathtub. She's not coming. I don't think she's coming to this vow renewal party. But then we learn, because, like I said, Camille and Ty had to go. They went and did that testing and see who can freeze their eggs. Unfortunately, Camille finds out that she may not be able to have babies. Ty said she was going to freeze her eggs. And in true fashion, as she's saying, she said, I'm so sorry. Ty says that to Camille, I'm so sorry this happened. And Camille is like, I don't want to spring this on Ian just yet with all the things that we're dealing with. And Ian was like, spring what? And of course, that's where the episode ended. So now we got to figure out, is she going to tell him what's going to happen? But I thought it was really, really good. These were 2 good episodes. I like this show. I'm enjoying this show. That's all I got, folks. Tell me your thoughts down below. What do you think is going to happen? Where are these storylines going? Will Quinn ever find some sort of happiness? I feel so bad for her. She seemed like such a nice person, but she just seems like she can't find her happiness. Tell me your thoughts. What's going to happen? How do you think Ian is going to react to this news? Let me know. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching. I will see you all in the next video.